What's going on, Commanders fans? Of course, I'm not going to say what's good, but we can never have a simple off season. We just can't do it. We can't do it. Jack Del Rio, we talked about him before, and I'm not even going to bring up the tweets first. Let's talk about him on the field. Let's talk about that Hail Mary pass that happened against the Saints. Let's talk about Darius Slayton running past his defense. Let's talk about Keenan Allen running wide open in the zone coverage on third downs. Let's talk about how bad our third down defense was under Jack Del Rio. Let's talk about how bad our pass defense was under Jack Del Rio. Let's talk about that first. And then we'll get to some of the crazy comments that he said today. So not only on the field as Jack was awful last year, but now he's talking crazy on Twitter. And it's not even what he said, the political stuff. Bite these nuts, coming from a 60-year-old, 55-year-old, or however old he is, grown man tweeting stuff like this. Imagine if we had players like John Allen, Terry McLaurin tweeting bite these and these nuts on Twitter and see how the reaction is for that. I bet you Ron Rivera will finally step up and say something to those young men. They can't do stuff like that. But Jack Del Rio can come out there and do stuff like that. It is ridiculous and be a terrible defensive coordinator right now. Then guys run right past. Cordarrelle Patterson had 3 easy touchdowns on our defense last year. You know how many guys were running wide open against our soft zone Pop Warner defense that Jack Del Rio was calling last year? That Eagles screen pass when we actually could have had a chance to beat them with Garrett Gilbert on third down, and Jack Del Rio has soft coverage, and they throw a screen pass to Jalen Reagor, and they get a first down. Jack Del Rio, that's Jack Del Rio for you. It's terrible. For him to call January 6th just a dust-up is tone deaf. People lost their lives. Security guards got injured, lost their lives. Even on the side that was rioting and whatever, what they call insurrection, people who were climbing up and trespassing the Capitol, some of those people lost their lives too. So to call that a dust-up is disrespectful to their families too. So he's tone deaf. He's not reading the room. He just, I don't know what to say. I don't know if something's wrong. Just a screw is loose, and I like to hire Jack Del Rio, but right now, this man has no sense. No, he doesn't know what's going on at all. This man has, and for Ron Rivera not to address it and talk to him before he got to the media, they should have asked him about the bite these and these nuts tweets too, because he's gotten duped He got duped with a political tweet and he quote tweeted it, and then he had to delete tweets. He's getting ratioed on Twitter. This man has lost his mind. Like, what is going on with Jack Del Rio, man? I understand if you want to have a different opinion, that's fine. Republicans, Democrats, whatever. If you disagree with whatever political belief, that's fine. But when you say something like that as a dust-up, that makes zero sense to me. And that's just a terrible take on his part. Ron Rivera, Mitch said it. Brian Mitchell, shout out to him, the OG on the Redskins at the time, Super Bowl teams. He gave it to Jack. He gave it to Jack and Ron. And he said, I don't give a dang about Ron Rivera getting mad at somebody having a practice collision today until he gets off his ass and addresses this damn idiot that he hired as a defensive coordinator. That's what I give a darn about. And seriously, it's on Ron. It's on Ron. He has to talk to Jack Del Rio. I don't know. I'm not saying he needs to 100% get fired, but if he is fired, I wouldn't blink an eye. And it's not just because of what he said today, but he's been awful. And then he's blaming the reason why they weren't good last year is because of OTAs, that guys weren't there. You're coming up with weak excuses of how the defense was bad last year. It makes no sense to me. And I don't know how the players feel about it. I don't know how Chase Young, Montez, being young black men themselves, I don't know how they feel about what Jack Del Rio says. I'm not going to speak for them, but they should have some conversations for sure. They need to have some conversations as men and talk about, you hate to bring sports and politics together, but, when he comes up there and says stuff like that on the microphone, it's hard to ignore it. So, but let's get to football here real quick. Let's get to football. So we'll start off with guys that were on the sideline here. Curtis Samuel was on the sideline today, but it was just because of rest and soreness. So I'm going to bring it up here. I got to find a tweet. This is from Pete Haley. He says Curtis Samuel's on the side field, came out in a baseball hat, stretched with the team, and then headed over there. So it's Gibson. Antonio Gibson was out for rest as well. Curtis Samuel should be playing in minicamp, though. Who else was on the side field? Logan Thomas, of course, Chase Rouillet, Tyler Larson were on the side field as well. Sadiq Charles was on the side field as well today. Matthew Paris, the Sammy's Reyes was not there at all after being injured the past few weeks, but fullback Alex Arma was getting a lot of run at tight end because of the absences. Then on the next, this is one of the first plays in drills, De'Ami Brown, or hold on, I'm gonna go with the first play of 11 on 11s here. Kendall Fuller picked off Carson Wentz. This was in 2-minute drills, so Kendall Fuller's had a good OTA so far. He's done a solid job out there. This was on one of the early plays. De'Ami Brown went over the middle and Jeremy Reeves crushed him. This is from P. Haley. Jeremy Reeves just crushed De'Ami Brown in the middle of the field. Ron Rivera lost his mind. He grabbed the entire team for a full huddle and yelled at them louder than I've ever heard him yell in his time here. He said, "That makes no sense to me." De'Ami is walking off and looks dazed. So Jeremy Reeves, you just got to ease up. You got to ease up there, man. You got to be careful. De'Ami's looking out for a breakout year. Jeremy Reeves could have got hurt too. We don't know if it was a head-on collision or whatever, but we want guys to be healthy for the season. So Ron Rivera said, "Are you effing kidding me?" And he stopped the drill and gathered everyone and tore into the players. That was from Matthew Paris as well. Zach Selby said, special teams drills up next. Players on the field catching punts for Jahan Dotson, Dax Milne, McGowan. I want to say his first name is Trey, Jaquez Ezzard, and Alex Erickson. So I like Jaquez Ezzard a lot. I think he's a guy that can be a sleeper to make the roster. He can be, a punt returner like another DeAndre Carter out there. He's very shifty at Sam Houston State. Alex Erickson, I think he's going to make the roster, to be honest. I think they brought him here for a reason, to replace DeAndre Carter and be somewhat of a Adam Humphries replacement as well. McGowan, I want to say he went to Pitt and he went to Northwestern. He is very shifty as well. He was a wide receiver / running back in college. So he's got some moves to him too. Jahan Dotson, I wouldn't really have him punt return because of health reasons, but if he's electric and back there and can make plays happen and flip the field advantage and do that and stay healthy at the same time, then hey, we got a weapon back there at special teams. Dax Milne, we'll see how it goes with him. He did have that fumble last year against Tampa Bay, but he made a couple good catches here and there throughout the season, so we'll see what he can do as a punt returner. Let's see here. So we're going to talk about Jeremy Reeves, De'Ami Brown. He said, this is from Ethan Cadu. He's a beat reporter for the Commanders. He says, Jahan Dotson leaves Kendall Fuller in the dust on a crossing route. Carson Wentz finds him for the easy completion. Next play, Carson Wentz finds tight end Cole Turner open down the seam. So basically, Jahan Dotson, he's cooking, man. Nobody can stay in front of him. Logan Paulson said the only guy out there that can really stay in front of him has been Benjamin St. Juice. Benjamin St. Juice got a lot of praise from Jack Del Rio, saying that he's had a great offseason so far. So Jahan Dotson's just cooking. Carson Wentz and Jahan. I'm back. My phone cut off. So next play, I think I left off at Taylor Heineke hit Marcus Michelle on a 50-plus yard pass down the middle, right in stride. The quarterbacks came to play today. This was from Ethan Cadow from Commanders beat reporter. So this is good news for Taylor Heineke. Marcus Michelle, he played with the Eagles. I want to say his brother is Sony Michelle as well. He played in the AFL. He played in the AFL. He's got some speed to him, got some burners to him. Do I think that he's going to make the roster? It's going to be tough. There's a lot of competition, but he does offer speed, and he is a good guy to keep on the practice squad. So watch out for Marcus Michelle. Then I think I already talked about the Derek Forrest play on Carson Wentz where he broke it up and he tipped the football, and Cole Holcomb came down with the interception. So Derek Forrest has had a solid OTA practice so far, OTA so far. Ben Stanley also said that Derek Forrest has stood out for him, defending some throws the previous 2 weeks, some valleys with those peaks, but he's making plays after essentially a redshirt rookie season at safety. So he didn't play at all last year. He's going into his third season, so look out for Derek Forrest. He has been an OTA standout. Could he play that Buffalo nickel position that they're looking for? Could he play that linebacker / safety hybrid position? This is from Serge the Shooter, who is a photographer for the Commanders. He says Derek Forrest is better making plays with the first team defense, tipped a pass resulting in a Holcomb interception. Then he also went on to say that Marcus Michelle has been making plays all day for the Commanders, across the middle and down the field. So good news for Marcus Michelle and Derek Forrest there. Can he crack the lineup and get more snaps this season? Ron Rivera, this is from Ethan Cato. He says, Ron Rivera says today it was a rest day for Curtis Samuel. The plan is for him to return from minicamp next week. Antonio Gibson had a twinge in the hamstring, so they shut him down. So no need to panic about Curtis Samuel. He should be there next week for minicamp. Terry McLaurin, side note, Terry McLaurin was not there today, and Daron Payne was not there today. It is June 6th or June 7th or June 8th, so it is a week after June 1st. The cuts have been made, so Landon Collins' money is on the books, and they still have not gotten a deal done. Still not panicking, but I think it should be better to get a deal done sooner than later. We'll see if they do it like Jonathan Allen and get a deal done before training camp. But it is mandatory minicamp, so Ron Rivera said he expects Daron Payne and Terry McLaurin to be there. So if Terry McLaurin's not there, then it will start becoming a bigger story if he's still holding out. This is from Zach Selby. Ron Rivera says he really likes the command of Washington's offense. It's a positive for us, he said, and he and Wentz teammates can feel that confidence. So once again, Zach Selby also said the offense won big today again, so they have been dominating in practice. Is this an indictment on the defense, or is this a good thing about the offense playing well? Carson Wentz and Jahan Dotson getting the chemistry, Cole Turner making plays, or should we be concerned about William Jackson, Kendall Fuller, other guys, Bobby McCain? Should we be concerned about those guys, getting dusted by Jahan Dotson? Once again, there's not a lot of pass rush in 11-on-11s and OTAs. There's no pads, there's no hitting. So you want to take all of it with a grain of salt. But I think it is good news for the offense that they are connecting and playing well, because in previous years, we have heard that the defense has dominated the offense in practice. So this is from Jahan Todd. He's another beat reporter as well. He says Carson Wentz is making it clear he loves targeting Jahan Dotson. Each play they've both been on the field, Dotson has been at least semi-open and has gotten a look. Like I said earlier, Jack Del Rio said Ben St. Juste has been the only guy able to cover Jahan Dotson in OTAs, and that Ben St. Juste he's having a great offseason. I expect great things from him. He has been playing in the slot corner position. So Jahan Todd also said offensive line update. Haven't really talked about the offensive line much. Trey Turner, veteran free agent out of Louisiana State, the former Commander, getting reps in at right guard alongside the presumed starters on the Commanders' offensive line. Charles Leno at left tackle, Andrew Norwell at left guard, Schweitzer playing center, and Sam Cosmi playing right tackle. So that's your offense. That's your starters most likely. If Chase Roullier if he's available week 1, he should be starting at center. This is from Ben Stanley, just saying that Terry McLaurin and Daron Payne. Ron Rivera said he expects Terry McLaurin and Daron Payne in attendance for next week's mandatory minicamp because it's mandatory. McLaurin skipped all of voluntary OTAs, Payne a no-show today as well. So that's about it for today. I know there's a lot of off-the-field stuff. This is from Zach Selby as well, talking about Jamin Davis. Just a Jamin Davis update really quick here. Jamin Davis received more first-team reps today, which is a sign of how he has developed his offseason. Davis's ability to close the gap against ball carriers was listed as a strength when Washington drafted him, and there was a glimpse of that during team drills as he was the first defender to meet Brian Robinson, the running back out of Alabama, on a swing pass. Davis had to let up, but it would clearly have been a tackle if they were in pads. So, and they also said the offense continues to be the star of the offseason. It's obvious that the group is operating more crispy than in the previous 2 seasons. After having a rougher period earlier in the morning, Wentz delivered several passes in a row, 2 of which were to Jahan Dotson. So, standouts today were Marcus Michelle, Jahan Dotson. It looks like Taylor Heineke had a good day today too. Jamin Davis and Derek Forrest has been playing really well. I've heard Christian Holmes from Logan Paulson said that at first he started with the 4th string, now he's moved us all the way up to the 2nd string. That's the cornerback out of Oklahoma State, the 7th round pick. So good news to hear that. And hopefully we'll see what happens with Terry McLaurin before minicamp next week. But yeah, once again, Jack Del Rio, man, he's a wild guy, man. He really is. He's a wild guy. So, all right, you guys. Jack Del Rio said that Carson Wentz has been having a good OTA as well. He's been impressed with him. So that's on the bright side. All right, you guys. Hail to the Commanders. Peace.